I was told to deliver this message. You think you're invincible because you got money, bombs, guns, and planes, killing babies, innocent people. I think you're insane. I was told to deliver this message. You think you're invincible because you got money, bombs, guns, and planes, killing babies, innocent people. I think you're insane. Chaos and destruction is the name of your game. Somebody's got to stop you before the whole world goes up in flames. So he told me to tell you, I'll fight
for my brothers. We can go to war. Fighting for my father, I will give my life for. I feel so alone in this white man's world. Whip it in the kitchen, watch that white turn pearl. Standing on the corner, standing on my phone. Standing with my gangsters, but I'm standing on my own. If you said to me his own, split you like you did alone. Sacrifice my life, understanding each his own. Toast to the keys of success. Bel Air rose on my breath. I've been a student since '03, and we can fight till we see peace.
I fight like that. 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 I fight like that.
Let me holler at you for a minute, give you game. Real scrappy, love to bada Buddha bang. Trigger happy, and everybody in the game. You shot your family and didn't even know it, man. Same rules, same code, with a different slang. Struck him out, and now they took him out the picture frame. Mama, don't cry, we gon' get by. 2 weeks later, got killed in a drive-by. Why must we fight amongst each other? Reach one, each one, teach one, my brother. I teach them how to fight on the grass and in the class. Snoop Dogg, all stars, yes sir, they coming fast. D1, football, we won. Now proud of my son, Lil Snoop, yes sir, cause he won. Right on, SC, fight on. We 100, keep it coming, dip, slip, slide on, light on, fight on.
I fight like that. 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 I fight like that.
Watching the warriors, the story of the rebels. You from the ghetto, did you know never to settle? I'm shooting common on the streets, I'm a pharaoh. Battling in African-American apparel. Fists on a t-shirt, youngins doing street work. Grinding till they teeth hurt, that's because they need work. Working till the feet hurt, trying to get my soul right. Used to be on old bikes, serving them that cold white. Wars in the winters, the block is hot in summers. Today's mathematics, we know it's strength in numbers. To the bosses and the runners, the hustlers and the stunners. We fight for the hundreds, we fight for the oneness.
He fights with the heat. He fights with the sleet. He said, I am who I am. I can't be beat. Nobody has won a war against me. I fight like that. 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 I fight. All of the nations of the earth as we speak are angry. They're angry because governments cannot suffice the needs of their people. They're angry because a few have gotten wealthy at the expense of the many, and the poor and the sick and the weak and the unlearned multiply and the value of their lives are diminished by the rich and the powerful, so that when human life is devalued, that in the eyes of man you are unworthy of the gift of life, then it is easy for another human being to take the life of another human being that he or she has devalued. Black life in America is devalued. Hispanic life is devalued. Even poor white life is devalued. There's a way that I have to behave. I'm free, but I'm not free to rob you of yours. I'm not free to take from you what does not belong to me. So if I will construct my life according to these righteous principles, then between man and man, man and woman, peace. Between race and race, peace. Between rich and poor, peace. We have our beautiful Mexican family. This once was theirs. So you can't say to them they are aliens. That's a horrible word to use for former owners. I see my indigenous family here. Many tribes, but they're really one great nation of people that now must be reunited with themselves. So it's their time now, as well as ours, that God would intervene in our affairs and bring the bottom rail to the top. The government is not rehabilitating soldiers. When they send you away to kill. When you come home, they gotta reconstitute you for civilian life again. Make sure you have a job so you can take care of your family, but they're not doing it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad says, a woman can do anything that a man does, and the only thing he forbids the woman to do is the thing that degrades her. So how high can you go? High as you want to. Why would God allow the female to wear his attributes if you can't be a manifestation of that attribute? Women, you got to be set free. What God has put within you must be cultivated, must be developed, and must be used for the advancement of a nation and a world. I said to myself, Mr. President, why the hell don't you go to the wicked police department? Why the hell don't you stand up and tell them that your killing of black youth and brown youth is not gonna hold no more? Why don't you stand up? God's world is in need of a truth that will set up a government where everybody can live in peace under real freedom real justice, and real equality. This city has always fascinated me, the city of Frankfurt. Known to be a city of trade and economic growth. As a kid, I was amazed by handing over pieces of paper for ice cream, toys, and candy. Handing over such a paper and receiving a toy racetrack in return, I just could not believe it. Where could I get this magic paper? This idea I couldn't get out of my mind. I started asking questions and read every book I could find. I learned the money was backed by gold as a paper form to save us carrying it around. Something of real value behind the paper. But everything was changed. The value was capped and the gold standard, as it was called, was abolished. Since then, the value of money has been the biggest lie of all. The dollar bill is now just a paper subject to inflation and devaluation. This must stop. The solution, returning to a piece of gold that you can actually hold, and it holds value or even better cash gold, paper pressed and refined with real gold. A masterpiece solution, a forgery-proof, totally digital cryptocurrency. Here I am in the city of money, but not as a banker or a gold dealer. The Frankfurter Book Fair has invited me to read from my books that will help the world believe in gold again. Think Big will help show people how to be successful. I am very proud to be here.
Here's the big challenge of life. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. That's the challenge. And of course, the other side of the coin reads, unless you change how you are, you'll always have what you got. I have found in my experience that income does not far exceed personal development. Now, sometimes income takes a lucky jump. But sure enough, unless you grow out where it is, it'll usually come back where you are. Life has strange ways. If somebody hands you $1 million, best you become a millionaire quickly, so you get to keep the money. Otherwise, sure enough, it'll disappear. Somebody once said, if you took all the money in the world, divided it up equally among everybody, it would soon all be back in the same pockets. Incredible. Success is something you attract, not something you pursue. Success is looking for a good place to stay. So instead of going after it, you work on yourself. Personal development. See, the major question to ask on the job is not what are you getting? The major question to ask on the job is what are you becoming? See, the big question is not what am I getting paid here? The big question is what am I becoming here? Because true happiness is not contained in what you get. Happiness is contained in what you become. Now, here's the first lesson of economics. Everybody should learn it from the time they're old enough to understand what a dollar means, how to earn one, how to get one, how to keep one, what to do with it. First lesson of economics. We primarily get paid for value. That's lesson one. Bringing value to the marketplace, that's how you get paid. You don't get paid for the time. I know it takes time to bring value to the marketplace, but you get paid for the value, not the time. Now, since that's true, here's one of the key questions of the evening. Is it possible to become twice as valuable? at the marketplace and make twice as much money in the same time? Could you become 3 times as valuable? Make 3 times as much money in the same time? Is that possible? The answer is yes, if. And it's always if, right? Life is known as the big if. Harry Truman once said, life is iffy. How true. And here's the big if we're going to consider it tonight. It's possible to do much better at the marketplace if you go to work primarily on yourself. People have asked me for the last 24 years, how do you develop an above average income? And the answer is, become an above average person. Develop an above average handshake. Some people want to be successful. They don't even work on their handshake. As easy as that would be to start on. They let it slide. They don't understand. Develop an above average smile. Develop an above average excitement. Develop an above average interest in other people. Develop an above average intensity to win. See, that'll change everything. Probably one of the most frustrating experiences in life is looking for an above average job with above average pay without becoming an above average person. It's called frustration. And Mr. Shelf gave me probably the greatest clue he gave me when I first met him. He said, Jim, if you want to be wealthy and happy the rest of your life, just learn this lesson well. He said, learn to work harder on yourself than you do on your job. For things to change for you, you've got to change. Otherwise, it isn't going to change. And whether I'm talking to high school kids or business executives, my message is always the same. And it goes like this. The only way it gets better for you is when you get better. And see, that's how life gets better for you, not by chance, but by change. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. See, that triggered my whole life change. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenge, wish for more wisdom. That's the key. Take full responsibility for what happens to you. It's one of the highest forms of human maturity, accepting full responsibility. It's the day you know you've passed from childhood to adulthood, the day you accept full responsibility. And another note, learn to reap in the fall without apology. Without apology if you do well, and without complaint if you don't. That's maturity. It's not what happens that determines the quality or the quantity of your life. It's not what happens. And the reason is because what happens happens to about everybody. No different. The sun went down on all of us last night. A common event, a happening. And I found out that the same things can happen to 2 different people. One gets rich and one stays poor. Why is that? It's because it's not what happens, but rather it's what you do that changes everything. So that's a key phrase. It's not what happens, it's what you do. What happens is about the same. You might put that in parentheses here. Same. What people do, that's what's different. Somebody says, yeah, but you don't understand the disappointments I've had. Come on. Everybody's had their share. Disappointments are not special gifts reserved for the poor. Everybody has them. The difference is what you do about them. It's not the weather. I used to blame the weather. and I discovered it rains on the rich. So see, that won't help. Two men wake up one morning, there's a rainstorm on. One of them looks out his window, sees the rainstorm, and he says, wow, what a storm. With weather like this, they can't expect you to go out and make sales. He stays home. Same morning, the other guy looks out his window, sees the same storm, says, wow, what a storm. But he says, you know what, with weather like this, what a great day to go out and make sales. Most everybody will probably be home, especially the salesman. See, that's the difference in how your life works out. It's not what happens, it's what you do. So here's one of the key questions of the evening. Starting tomorrow, what are you going to do that'll make a change in your life's direction? Good question. What are you going to do starting tomorrow that'll make a difference? Now, see, if you don't do something starting tomorrow that'll make a difference, guess what? It's going to be the same. And see, that way you can guess what the next 5 years are going to be like. Look at the last 5. Because the next 5 are going to be like the last 5 unless you, major key, tomorrow, change it all. Or change a little, or change something, or don't change. It's choice time. You can do whatever you want. But it's nice to know any day you wish you can change your whole life. What can you do starting tomorrow that'll make a difference? Good question. What can you do with economic chaos, massive disappointment? What can you do with a broken heart? What can you do when it won't work? Good question. So if I had a word with you tonight, one-on-one, just you and me, I think my personal advice to you would be, reach down inside of you and come up with some more of those remarkable human gifts. They're there, waiting to be utilized. And then change anything for you you want to change. And I challenge you to do that because you can change. If you don't like how it is for you, change it. If it doesn't suit you, change it. If it doesn't please you, change it. If it isn't enough, change it. And I challenge you to do that because you can change. See, you don't ever have to be the same again after tonight, only by choice. Major step to human progress, discipline. If there's one thing to get excited over, that's it. Get excited over your ability to make yourself do the necessary things. What could you make yourself do starting tomorrow that would change it all? No, tell him. Now, see, that's exciting. On any given day, you can massively change the direction of your life. Murder is a clear example that any one person on any given day can forever alter the course of their life. It just happens to be a negative act. But just as sure as you can commit a negative act, you can also commit a positive act and forever alter your life whenever you wish. Now that's exciting. And whatever that act might be that changes your life. The guy finally takes a shotgun to his car and blows out every window, destroys every tire, puts 100 rounds in this shabby old thing. And he says, I have driven this embarrassing thing for the last time. And not only will I never drive it again, nobody else will ever drive it again. And he lets that shuddering thing stand there for a while as a monument to the day he said, today my life changes. Now, who can do that? Anybody. When can you do it? Whatever day you pick. Now, here's the key to discipline. Start with the little disciplines. Get excited over the little disciplines and get right on those because those will lead to the big ones. You can't handle the big challenges in life unless you take on the little ones. Make a list of all the things you can do. Get right on those. Find out how things work. The first key to doing better is find out. To change your life, really, you need ideas. There isn't anything an idea can't change. And Schoaf taught me the major problem is lack of an idea, not a problem. At first, I didn't have any money. I said to Mr. Schoaf, I don't have any money. He said, that's not a problem. Now, see, up until then, I always thought it was. Right? I was confused. He said, no, the problem is lack of an idea on how to create money and wealth. It isn't lack of money, it's lack of ideas. So if you get the ideas, so you can change anything. Now, to get ideas, you need a constant study of finding out. Now, Schoaf also said, when you find out something that works, put the information in your journal. Don't use your head for a filing cabinet. Put it in your journal so that you can do the next best thing. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Go over it. And if you repeat it, go over it, sure enough, someday, some mysterious day, the idea takes root, starts to grow, and shows up in your bank account, and your dress, and your personality, and your lifestyle. But capture the ideas in your journal. Find out how things work. Schoaf gave me this word for my life change. He said, study. Great word. If you wish to be successful, study success. If you wish to be happy, study happiness. If you wish to be wealthy, study wealth. Don't leave it to chance. Make it a study. Some people just go through the day with their fingers crossed. See, that won't do it. You've got to study the things that can change your economic, social, spiritual, personal life. Now, here's a qualifying phrase. And we'll have several of these qualifying phrases throughout the seminar. Here's the first one. You may not be able to do all you find out. I understand that. You may not be able to do all you find out, but you should find out all you can do. See, you don't want to wind up at the end of your life and discover that you've lived only 1/10 of it. And the other 9/10 went down the drain. Not for lack of opportunity, for lack of information. Become a good reader. All of the successful people I know and work with around the world, they're all good readers. Curiosity drives them to read. They got to know. They just read. Become a good reader. Now, that's my opinion. Listen to the other lecturers and listen to me and make up your own mind. Don't be a follower. Be a student. Okay? I say, really, for life change, you got to read. One way to learn is from your own experiences, but another way to learn is from other people's experiences. See, one book might save you 5 years if you read it. Did you know there's books on how to be stronger, more decisive, be a speaker, be a leader, have a better effect on other people, develop your personality? Did you know there's books on that? And people don't read them? How would you explain that? And they can read? Did you know that hundreds of successful people have written their stories in books and they wrote down how they did it and people don't read it? How would you explain that? The guy's busy, I guess. You know, you get tied up. The guy says, well, yeah, you work where I work. By the time you struggle home, it's late. You got to eat a bite of supper, watch a little TV, get to bed. You can't sit up half the night reading. And the guy's behind on his car payment. Good worker, hard worker, sincere. But you got to be better than sincere and work hard. Otherwise, at the end of your life, you'll wind up cold, stony broke. You got to be better than a good worker. You got to be a good reader. To the pessimist, the glass is always half empty. To the optimist, the glass is half full. Why would the same measure affect people two different ways? Answer, it all depends on how you look at it. Our lives are mostly affected by the way we think things are, not the way they are. The way we think they are affects us most. There's a subject we don't have time to get into tonight called better thinking habits. One of the major things Shoaff taught me when I met him, he said, poor thinking habits keeps most people poor. Not poor working habits. Most people work hard, but they don't think hard. And Shoaff taught me that the mind is like a factory, a mental factory. And whatever you think about all day long pours ingredients into this mental factory. And that's what builds the economic, social, financial fabric of your life. He quoted me a Bible phrase that says, as you think, so you become. How awesome. When he talked about poor thinking habits, he had me. I used to start the day reading the morning newspaper. I mean, you can believe that or not. I'd get a cup of coffee and read the paper. I'd load up on wars and riots and murders and stabbings and killings and bank robberies and muggings and car wrecks and tragedies. I'd even read the back pages. I seem to like that stuff for some weird reason. I'd load up on all that, and then I'd start the day. You can imagine the kind of days I used to have. You walk around on your financial knees. They call you economic peewee. The guy says, I want to be a great leader. Wonderful. The first thing we do is follow him to his house. When we get there, we walk in and check his library, number one. Somebody says, well, why check his library? The reason is because what a man reads pours massive ingredients into his mental factory, and the fabric of his life is built from those ingredients. You would not believe what some people have got in their house to read. You would not believe. One of the best dressed up words I know for a lot of it is trash. Can you imagine dumping a barrel of trash into this mental factory every day and coming out with a rich, dynamic, positive life? It can't be done. You might as well try making a cake with cement. The kids back in Danbury, Connecticut, high school, they're asking me questions one day. I'm talking to the kids. Kids got good questions these days. One of them said to me, Mr. Rohn, how do you build the good life? I said, it's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. Here's how you build anything. Select the right ingredients, keep out the wrong ingredients, and it starts with thought. Everything starts with thought. So you must be wise and careful what you think about, because that starts everything. You got to be wise and careful. I asked the kids, what would happen if somebody dropped sugar in my coffee? They said, well, you'd be okay. I said, what if somebody dropped strychnine in my coffee? They said, well, you'd be dead. I said, correct. Lesson one, life is both sugar and strychnine. You gotta be careful. I said, what if my worst enemy drops in the sugar? They said, will you be okay? I said, what if my best friend, even by accident, drops in the strychnine? They said, well, you'd be dead. I said, correct. Lesson two, watch your coffee. You got to be careful. See, it doesn't matter who hands you the bad stuff. It doesn't matter where you get the bad stuff. It'll still do its damage on your bank account, wherever you get it. Mr. Shoaff gave me one of the greatest phrases when I first met him when he said, Jim, every day stand guard at the door of your mind. How important. Stand guard at the door of your mind. And you decide what goes into your mental factory. Don't let anybody just dump anything they want to in your mental factory, because you've got to live with the results.
No truer words spoken. Ready for revolution. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday, y'all. In this wonderful world of classes in session. I'm your brother and friend, Brother Eric Teray Muhammad. Thank you so much good parting words on this morning's mental from Jim Rohn. Stand guard at the door of your mind. You know, there's a lot of jewels that were dropped in there, and I want you to be prepared for the remainder of the week because it's going to be awesome. We're going to deal with the thought process, the importance of the thought process, how we develop thought, how we develop ideas, how we guard them. You know, a lot of those things will be explored in this week. I'm very grateful and honored to see another day. Welcome back, Sister Damawi. Good to see you. Hey, Sister Renee Gant, Roz Range. If you don't have range, you don't have Roz. You know, Miss Vix, I did get the information and I imparted it. Okay, so we're going to go through some house rules and then we're going to chop it up real quick, like, okay. Man, I just stay fired up, man. I really, truly appreciate y'all in ways you can't even imagine. All right, so let's just look at a couple of things that he had shared that gave me the idea of fundamentals. There are 5 fundamentals we're going to explore, okay? And one of them, of course, is to be the business. Get serious about your business. Be the business. Take massive action. Follow a massive action plan. You know, we all know what that is in the world of wealth builders. We'll explore that more in this week. Get smart, he said. Plug in. Educate yourself. Study, learn, grow, change, and develop. Get your tools, and you will develop your own philosophy. Man, your philosophy is a major determining factor as for how your life works out. You got to have a philosophy that feeds and fuels your desires, your dreams, and your goals. And then, you know, you have to have all the gets. You have to get going. You have to get going. It's not enough just to say, I think tomorrow I'm going to do so and so and such, and then don't do it. You have to get going. You can't be great at the start, but you can't ever be great until you get started. You know, get better. You know, become more proficient, become more consistent, become more persistent towards your goal, towards your gifts, towards your dreams. Get stronger. That's going to be common, you know, part and parcel, because as you grow, your strength grows. As you grow in the things that you need to do, your confidence grows. As you grow in the things you need to do, the energy and the shield of protection grows. Whereas so you don't not even fazed by what people think, say, or hear, or do. Because your objective, your goal is to have all of your objectives met. Okay, housekeeping rules. 2020 Paper to Gold Run to Wealth Conference and Expo. We're coming up on the deadline, family. I don't want anybody to sleep on it and miss it. The deadline for your advanced tickets, the early bird tickets, that deadline is August 18th. That's midnight Eastern time, August 18th. Okay, you can go to the highlighted page there, www.runtowealth.info, www.runtowealth.info. I'm asking all of you to share this information out with everyone. I appreciate all of you who've gotten tickets so far. Now let's make the conference just as strong. Encourage 2, 3, 4, 5,000 people to get their tickets. You know, you have a downline. Look into your downline. Look into your back office and just share it. You know, share it in an email. Share it in a cell phone message. However you care to do it. But share it with everyone. I want to close out that deadline with 1,000 early bird registrants. 1,000 early bird registrants. That's what I'm desirous of. That's what I'm determined to do. I'm doing my part. I hope you're willing to do additional, beyond, above and beyond you're already doing, and just supporting what we share each and every morning. I'm grateful for that. But we're about a week and 5 days out, and we're just a few days off from the deadline on the early bird. And I just want us to understand that $11 will guarantee you a multi-million-dollar experience. So you want to get in there. You want to bring everybody that you can, at least offer them the opportunity. It'll draw them closer to you, trusting you with their desire to increase their wealth. Just think about it, what it does for your team, your organizations, and your downline. So www.runtowealth.info. This is the last day of the month in the world of Carrot Bars. For those who don't know how it actually works, the 11th of every month begins a new 30-day period for Carrot Bars in terms of your tabulations for your commission earnings and rank advancement. and it ends on the 10th of the following month. Today is August 10th. This is that day. Pay yourself first. 1/10 of a gram, a package, whatever you do, it will help your upline and help your teams. If you reach down in depth and make a payment, units will be generated, and you never know what it can do to bump people to the next level in their earnings. We all support each other. The more we work in that way, the greater support we produce for each other. So by all means, pay yourself first. Now, speaking of which, we've had a tremendous weekend discussion over the 90-day run. And this 90-day run we're talking about is the fast track, the WBW initiative, that fast track run to wealth. Well, today at 2 p.m. on this very page, the Eric Teray Muhammad Facebook page, I'm going to do a live session on how to potentially earn up to $25K per week in the next 90 days. I want to help, by God's grace, produce an understanding of the WBW Fast Track Plan. That'll be today, 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm sorry, I didn't put that there, Eastern time, 2 p.m. on this page, the Eric Teray Muhammad Facebook page. Share it out with everyone that you care to. Share it out with everyone that may not understand. Join on and check it out yourself. And then when you get on, then share it out after you get on and put your link on it. Okay. And so we want to see all of you there. And the power in what we're talking about, it just basically takes two. We will show you that process. We'll show you how it works, how it will grow your wealth. And all you're doing is reaching out to two people to do exactly what you've done. You know, I've been playing with paint all day. You know, Vincent van Gogh, I read a quote of his and I shared it yesterday on my pages. He said, dream your painting and then paint your dream. Blew my mind. Okay, so I've been playing with paint. So here we go. Do you want to earn an income that will change your life? The first step in all of it is to get your free gold savings account. That means register for your free gold savings account, and all it requires, family, is your full name, your address, your phone number, an email address, a date of birth. You choose a username and you're in business in 149 countries. It's just that simple. You know, then what do? We acquire your multi-gold package. You know, any package will do it, but we offer number 4, and we'll explain why later today. But it qualifies you to earn unlimited income paid to you 5 times a month, plus earn free gold, you know, and cash bonuses. All of that is available to you in this opportunity. And if you just do that, just deal with the math of 2. When you just deal with the math of 2, what you end up with, simply, when you deal with the math of 2, you find 2 people to take the steps you have taken, and then you have set yourself up for a measure of success. How so? Because perfect performance of this can potentially produce $25,000 in residual income in your home. So y'all join me today at 2 p.m. Eastern, right here on this page. We're going to have a ball, but you're going to be armed, you're going to be equipped, and you're going to be ready to run. That's right, Sister Kimberly. It's the power of 2. Straight up with no chaser. We're going in and we getting it. Not we're going to get it. We getting it. Okay. Later in this week, you will also get to see some live callings, live trainings. I'm going to just open up the stream a couple of days this week, and I'm just going to cold call. I'm going to do warm calls. I'm going to do cold calls. I want you to see how easy this process is that we always talk about reaching and communicating with people. We don't grow like we grow because we want the bread to fall out the sky. We know wheat grows out of the earth, but we have to till the earth. We have to till the soil. We have to pick up the phone. We have to talk to people. And I want you to be comfortable in what you're doing. And I want to be accountable for what I do. So when I do it in front of you, I gotta be on my grind. I gotta show you, because it works. Not showing off, not trying to make more of myself than what I am. I just need for you to know how easy and simple it is for you to be rich, for you to be wealthy, and for you to be free. Okay? So that's my desire for us. And then, of course, today at 10:45, we have the Mighty Power Call, 10:45 Eastern. Hey, Professor McKay. 10:45, we have the Mighty Power Call. And today is Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? Today's Monday. Whew, I'm ahead of myself. So we have Coach Dwayne Taylor on today. And then we have Dr. Rhonda Hollins, who will be on at the 12 noon presentation. And then we'll be moving into the 2 p.m. that I'm going to do on this page. And then at 9 p.m., we're back this evening doing the wealth building presentation. I believe it's Mr. Roger Williams. I'm not really sure, but whoever it is going to be boss. So make sure that you're a part of it. 10:45 a.m. Eastern, the Mighty Power Call. And then at 12 noon, the presentation from Dr. Hollins. And then another presentation, live presentation for all of our affiliates, friends, guests, visitors, and families who we just want to gain a better understanding of what we do. That one will be at 9 p.m. Okay, so let's make sure that we are a part of that. All right. And I like quoting this often. You know, the way to change the nature of our experiences is to change the nature of our thoughts. We're really going to explore that this week because we've had some great classes this past week. And Mr. Cluis Cox, man, y'all need to clap out this brother. Just give him a bunch of plus signs in the chat. Congratulate him, man. I mean, he really held it down, co-hosting class in session and putting the questions to Mr. Best, getting them all fired up. We had a wonderful time this past Saturday class in session. It was a wonderful time. So thank you, Brother Cluis Cox. Thank you, Team Audacity. Thank you all for doing what you do. All right. Also, y'all get ready. Y'all get ready because we're going to we're heading towards our 100th episode of Classes in Session. Our 100th episode is coming up next week. We're 10 episodes away, and we're going to do something very special with that 100th. I hope you like what we put together. All right. And yeah. Okay. I'm going to keep it moving. There's a debut on Kafani Radio tonight, 9 p.m. It is her. Ladies and gentlemen, at 9 p.m. Eastern, we will be joined on the Kafani Radio Facebook page, the first of a 6-part series from Miss Tammy Morrison. Miss Tammy Morrison, My Carabaw's Journey, Faith, Hope, and Charity. It's a 6-part series. It'll begin tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern on the Kafani Radio International Facebook page. So know that Miss Tammy Morrison debuts there live tonight. And of course, she's at 9 p.m. And at 8 p.m., you have Sister Katora, Brian and Hafiza Toure, and their presentation with Abundance is the Birthright. I guess got so stuck there. Little full. All right. So Kafani Radio Network, hey, they keep bringing it. Every time we look up, there's something else popping. So make sure we are a part of it. All right. So when we talked about those goals and things that we cite out of Mr. Rome, there's a couple of things that I wrote down. Hopefully time will permit, but I want to go back to what I was saying just a moment ago. You know, we have to get serious about our business. We can't leave it to happenstance. We can't leave it to chance. I like some of the things that he said in some of the notes I took this morning. I noticed many of you all taking notes, right? He said, I like what he said about there isn't anything an idea can't change. Then it requires a constant way to find out. Okay, so there's nothing that an idea can't change. But when it comes down to change, he says, not by chance, but by change. Don't leave your life to chance. Leave it to change and let the change, the desired change, lead you in a direction. he opened up talking about how we're paid by the value. We're paid by our value in the marketplace, or our value in the marketplace. Our value in particular, you can't quantify it because gold is money. We have money, and our marketplace is 8 billion people who are suffering. You know why some people find me up all hours of the night? They all catch me on Facebook. See, Busy Bird be up just as much as I am. So here I am, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'm texting or sharing information, or I'll like something and she'll catch wind of it and she'll call you. I figured you were up still. Let me talk to you about this, that, and the other. Listen, there's a world out here. Why am I always up at 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3, 4? Because it's midday in West Africa. It's early afternoon or evening in Europe, and they're coming up on their day, coming into their day in Hawaii, in the South Pacific, and other places, in the Philippines. Ireland is New Zealand, 16 hours out now. So I'm cognizant of all those things in all those spaces, because there's not a moment anywhere in this world of cyberspace that we cannot reach people with the opportunity. Remember, we are always looking for one. We build in twos, but we're always looking for one. We don't know who those two are. We don't know how it's going to come. Okay, anyway. So she caught me out there. All right. So you're paid for the value you bring to the marketplace. In order to get above average value, you have to be an above average person. You have to be your business. That goes back to being serious about it and taking the massive action required. All right. Not by chance, but by change. What can you do with an economic crisis? Look what we're doing now. We're maintaining. We are wealth building in that crisis. Why? Because it's not our crisis. We're the recipients of the transfer. Share it with people. Okay. Get excited over the little disciplines and over how things work. In other words, continue to create small victories. We talk about this a lot. Continue to create the small victories that show you that it can be done. That show you it can be done. Create the small victories. It's a heck of an uphill climb when you're looking at the peak of a mountain and you feel that that's what you have to do. You have to get to that peak, but you don't plan anywhere in between. You have to condition yourself for the climb. You have to study the climatic conditions of the climb. What's the best environment to climb in? All those things carry weight. You see, all those things carry weight. But in order to do that, you have to goal set toward your dreams. Now, I made a comment when I released the program for this morning. There are times when goals and dreams are interchangeable, but most times they're not. Most times they're not, because the dream is the destination. The goal is the pursuit of it. The dream gives you direction. The goal shows you means and ways by which to get there. And many times, because we come out of another mindset that doesn't encourage dreaming, we goal set like we're employees. And that creates a problem. We have to get past that mindset. See, our goals can't be just to get a car, just to get a house, go on a trip, get this vacation. Our goals have to be life-altering, life-changing. Our goals have to be equitable to life itself. You sell your life with employment. Generally speaking, I'm not condemning anyone with a job. You sell your life with employment, okay? But goals that are set should be commensurate to your passion for life itself. So my goal isn't to get a car. My goal right now, I need 10 new goal directors in my downline. I need 10. That's a goal. Why? Because I want to be in Elite 3. That's a goal. Why? Because I want to increase my rank achievements. Why? Because I want to be a greater servant, which will translate into greater residual. You see? Your goals have to always lead and elevate to the advancement of your life. It can't be just for these menial things that will always keep you employed. If your goal is to get a car, then you're going to submit to going into debt. If your goal is to get a house, then you're going to submit to going into debt. If your goal is to get a dress or do it, and you're not making any money as it is, you're going to go into debt. You're going to find a charge card. You're going to try to do something. But when your goals are associated or synonymous with the desire to live, I mean, live. You know, most of us have existed, but we're talking about living, folks. You know, when your goals are commensurate with living, dear Lord, you know, dear Lord, I get full. I can't say much more on that. I just know that we have the power, we have the ability to make it all happen and all realized, you know. So this week is going to really be a tell all week. Something else that Mr. Rome said. Y'all don't like it, but you better journal. You better write, and you better read if you want to be better. If you want to be better, you better write. You better read if you want to be better, folks. How many of us chastise our children when school was open because you didn't see them crack a book, or you didn't see them take any notes, or you got a report from the school that they weren't turning in homework, and then you find all these bunches of papers. I'm having a moment now. Then you find all these papers crumbled up at the bottom of their book bag or at the bottom of their backpack or whatever it is they use. No organization, no desire to put anything through. And look how we chastise them about, hey, you got to be better about this. You got to be organized. You got to be this. You got to be that. Why? Because you're coming into a life pursuit, and your life pursuit has to have a structure. So when you're ready to move, you can move with a structure. And then we turn around and won't crack a book. We don't even know what the pages smell like when it opens fresh. We don't write anything down, and writing when you write, you're making a contract with yourself, people. That's the power in the writing. Yes, you can listen to audiobooks. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. Okay. And I still write the notes of the things that appeal to me in the audio. Because do you think I'm going to be conscious of it once I put it down? You see, you continuously feed your mind on every aspect. You feed it with what you allow to pass your ears, and then you support it by what you write. Because now your subconscious will now move and fuel the activity of your consciousness. You see, because our minds don't know the difference between what's real and what's not. The subconscious, rather, doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. And my father always taught me, and I used to trip out. He would say it all the time. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? But he would say, he said, look, African, the job of the unconscious, the job of the conscious is to make the unconscious aware of conscious activity. I'm like, what? I would come in and I'll be talking about a problem or what I perceived as a problem. He said, there you go again. He said, look, the job of the conscious is to make the unconscious aware of conscious activity. And that'd be his answer almost all of the time. And I'm like, why in the heck are you telling me this over and over and over? Because I had to learn how to study the mind. I had to study mind. I had to see how I was growing. I had to take assessment of how I was moving, how I was living. Mr. Farrakhan used to say the same thing. And I'll be like, yes, sir, dear apostle, but I don't get it. I don't get it. We have study guides. We're reading. We're writing. We're taking notes. But whenever I got stuck on something, The minister would say, you got to learn how to rise above emotion and get into the higher thinking of God. I said, man, y'all be coming with these words, man. You know, I wasn't catching it right away, you know, but I got it now. I got it. And I know that you'll get it. All right. I need 10 directors. That's all. 10 gold directors. That's all. I got 2,000 plus in my downline. Y'all going to give it to me. We're going to talk over some strategies this week. We're going to talk over how to make, how to grow in depth with your teams, how you can immediately or more immediate qualify for those wonderful long-term incentives that are there in carrot bars. And you can do it by finding two. By finding two. That's right. So yes, ma'am, Sister Shanique. Yep. We dream your painting, then paint the dream. Yes, ma'am. Family, we are going to do just that. After the power call, after the live presentation, go and get your sip of water, get your coffee, fan out, cool off a little bit. You might want to go out and get your number 4 packs out the way, get your packs in, get your 3 ways out the way. I'm sure I will not be available for 3 ways before the presentation. So as much as I normally do it between the time of the presentation and 3 o'clock, that time is not available today because I will be dealing with the understanding the WBW fast track plan live. Okay, so I'll be live with that today. Take another look at it, take a picture of it and share it out with everyone, please. And let your teams know that we'll be there and to clear up any kind of, I don't know what could be confusing about making money, but it's there for us to make. All right. And then lastly, again, runtowealth.info, www.runtowealth.info. Get your advance ticket, folks. Get it out to other people. Encourage your downline. Some of you have thousands of people in your downline. That's why it's easy for me to say, I want 1,000 early bird tickets pushed. I want to show our leadership that we are conscientious and supportive of those things they're willing to share off script. The presentation you're going to hear on that day is far beyond anything you're going to get in the power call, far beyond anything you're going to get in the general trainings. They're going into brass tactics on how to preserve, build, and acquire the wealth. I mean, real technical stuff. You know, every time I turn around, I hear another leader talking about how they're building a house, how they're going over plans, how they're house shopping. Why are they house shopping? Why are they dream shopping like this? They're not doing it just to play with their head or just to get out, because they're programming the subconscious to bring into reality what they want in the next phase of their lives. Don't you want that for yourself? You know, some of the homes that we look at, we have to be able to prove that we can afford it in order to get in. I like what Sister Deb Nixon says. That's right. Spend your time wisely. Yeah. Yeah. Family, I thank y'all, man. I mean, this weekend had me so full. I was so fired up last night. And I got to admit, I was on the phone with some of the teams earlier yesterday in my 3, 4, and 5 o'clock sessions. And bro was tired. I was tired. I got to a point where I'm talking in the presentation. They say, hey, Mr. Muhammad, you do so. I said, tired, boss. Tired, boss. I could barely hold my head up. And y'all were quite appeasing of me. I want to thank you. I want to thank you so much. You know, if you don't stop, sometimes your body will stop for you. You know, so we have to be able to strike that balance. I just been on this fire all week, and you know, it's just in my belly, it's in my very being, you know. But I'll balance it. I'll get it together because y'all don't let me go too far off script. So I want to thank you. So again, the 2020 Paper to Gold Run to Wealth Conference and Expo. Make sure we're there. Make sure we get the information out. And family, I want to thank you for the honor, the privilege, and pleasure to be a part of your life as you are a part of my life. I am your brother and your friend. And I will see us all on the other side of money. Get ready for the power call. I'm going over here to Miss Lakeisha McKnight. Then I'm going to get to Brother Kansu Hotep Atun. and then I'll see everybody on the power call. So thank you again. Peace and power. Forward.
Peace. Strong words. Love. Soul. And change. Yeah. This is Big Snoop Dogg. Coming at you live and direct. And I got something to say. You dig?
Let's change the world, divided we forward, united we stand. Let's change the world, no fights, no wars, oh let's learn to love again. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
Brother, what will you discover if we come together and do it like we never? I'm just sick and tired. I'm fit to light the fire. Now put this on the wire. The devil is a liar. I do this with no hesitation. Meet me at the reservation. Elevating, educating, meditating, concentrating. Replenish ya, finish ya, opposite of sinister. And I do it for the minister.
Let's change the world, divided we forward, united we stand. Let's change the world, no fights, no wars, so let's learn to love again. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
Somebody need to stop the war. Man, the war ain't overseas, it's at your front door. And I done seen too many brothers shot up on the floor for more than drugs and some colors. And now you call us warlords. But if you can help it, then help it. But you ain't helping us. You so selfish and selfless, you wanna see us breathless and helpless. But I'ma hustle and tussle for all my brothers who struggle. Yeah, we bang the world. Now let's change the world.
Let's change the world, divided we forward, united we stand. Let's change the world, no fights, no wars, oh let's learn to love again. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.
No killing, no shooting, no dying, no lying, no gang banging, so no more mamas crying. Everybody get along, man, that be the perfect song. Peace in the streets as I sit back on my phone, chilling with the president. He let me in the White House, back to the castle with the minister. No doubt, shoes at the front door. Love is what you come for. Let's get it right and unite, but do it for
Let's
ourselves.
change the world, divided we forward, united we stand. Let's change the world, no fights, no wars, oh let's learn to love again. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Whoa, oh, oh. Let's change the world, let's change the world, let's change the world. Let's make hope for the future.